Hey guys, this is Katie with the channel Weather Shaman. Welcome if you're new, and a big hello to my returning subscribers. Right now I am outside on a bench underneath a beautiful tree, and the sun is beginning to set behind me. It is just gorgeous. And for this video, I have been guided to share some information on empaths, or what it feels like to be considered or identify as an empath. The term empath first came to me a few years ago. In the workplace, I had a coworker basically tell me that I was super empathic and, that I could feel everything, and that's why he termed me as an empath. And I didn't know what that meant, so I did a little Google search and found out it's when you're like hypersensitive to other people's feelings, other people's physical symptoms, and just really tuning in to frequencies, sounds, and pitches that most people don't pick up on. So very extreme heightened sensitivity to our surroundings and our environment. And I have this really cool book that was gifted to me by a really good friend of mine. And it's called The Empath's Survival Guide. And it's by Judith Orloff, Judith Orloff, who is an MD. And this book has been super helpful in terms of giving me clarity on what it means to be an empath and how to cope in today's modern society. And so I wanted to share it with you. The first quote from this book that I love says, "If you feel as if you don't fit into this world, it's because you're here to create a better one." Now, this quote was in the book on page 4. It says author unknown, so it looks like Dr. Judith Orloff got this from somebody else, but it's beautiful. I'm going to read that one more time. "If you feel as if you don't fit into this world, you're here to create a better one." I love that because it's so hopeful and optimistic. And there's a little empath quiz in here that I wanted to kind of read through with some guiding questions to kind of help give you a little bit more clarity as to whether or not you may feel you be an empath as well, or that you may be an empath too. So there's a series of questions, and if you answer yes to 1 to 5 of these questions, you're at least a partial empath. And the more yeses that you have to these questions, the more strongly you're going to identify with the term empath. So the first question is, have I ever been labeled overly sensitive, shy, or introverted? The second one is, do I frequently get overwhelmed or anxious? It's a big one for me. Do arguments and yelling make me ill? Do I often feel like I don't fit in? Do crowds drain me, and do I need more alone time to revive myself? Do noise, odors, or nonstop talkers overwhelm me? Do I have chemical sensitivities or a low tolerance for scratchy clothes? Do I prefer taking my own car to places so that I can leave early if I need to? Do I overeat to cope with stress? Am I afraid of becoming suffocated by intimate relationships? Do I startle easily? Do I react strongly to caffeine or medications? Do I have a low threshold for pain? Do I tend to socially isolate? Do I absorb other people's stress, emotions, or symptoms? Am I overwhelmed by multitasking, and do I prefer to do one thing at a time? Do I replenish myself in nature? What I'm doing right now. Do I need a long time to recuperate after being with difficult people or energy vampires? Do I feel better in small towns or the country rather than large cities? Do I prefer one-to-one interactions and small groups to large gatherings? Okay, so if you answered yes to at least 1 to 5 questions, then you're definitely at least a partial empath. If you answered yes to all of the questions, like myself, you are super empathic, and you more than likely have a heightened sensitivity to sounds, to other people's feelings, emotions, their physical symptoms, and you kind of take on the emotions and symptoms of others, not meaning to, just by default, until you learn coping strategies that help you kind of put an energy shield around yourself so that it kind of deflects back to sender. So what I have learned is that it really all starts with diet and what we're putting in our bodies, because like Ralph Smart says, health is wealth. And the better quality foods we put in our body, the more likely our body is going to have a stronger defense system against energy that may not be in our best interest. So for me, staying hydrated with like alkaline water, high pH water, eating more organic foods, eating more plant-based foods, that really helps increase or raise my vibrational frequency, which helps naturally repel energy vampires and negative low vibrational beings. But in this book by Judith Orloff, Dr. Judith Orloff, she suggests for protection strategies to eat a whole food diet. And that's why I shop at Whole Foods all the time. I mean, there's a lot of great, healthy selection of foods there. Also add Himalayan red salt to your diet, or that pink sea salt that's Himalayan. That is wonderful. It doesn't affect your blood pressure like regular white table salt. It's probably the healthiest salt of all. And that's Himalayan pink sea salt or red sea salt. Also exercise, or just getting outside, doing a little walk in nature and grounding. I have my shoes off right now and my feet are barefoot on the grass as I'm talking to you, to really just keep my nervous system calm and just keep me in a more just peaceful, blissful state as I go through this with you all. Meditation. Meditation increases endorphins, which are natural painkillers, and reduces stress hormones. This is huge. Take a moment to just breathe and meditate at the end of each day, or even midway through the day. Just pauses throughout the day, take breaks. Also, making sure you're getting plenty of rest in. B vitamins, this is huge. I take 10,000 mcgs of B12 vitamin every day, as well as some B6 and folic acid on top of that. And that makes a huge world of difference in terms of my energy levels and my response to stressful situations around me. Also, vitamin C is good. And being really careful and aware of your surroundings, people, places, and things. If they are taking more of your energy than providing energy to you, consider, whether or not you should be around them. And if so, how long can you stand before you feel like restless and irritable? Really know your limits and know what you're getting involved into or what you're about to get into. For me, I have to kind of feel out each situation through my intuition. And if it feels good and I feel like I can be authentic to myself and others, I'll stay in it and just go with it. But if I feel this intuitive feeling and the sick feeling in the pit of my stomach, that means that I need to get out of there as soon as possible, or say I got to go to the bathroom, or just get out, because we really have to put ourselves first and exercise self-love and self-respect before anybody will love us and respect us back. The law of reciprocity, the law of exchange, law of attraction, that's what this all has to do with. And really get to know who in your life cares about your well-being and your highest and greatest good. Who wants to heal with you along this journey of life versus who is trying to take you down and put negative energy on you and suck you dry, because you don't need people like that in your life. Some people we can't avoid as easily as others. That's a given. But there are tactics we can take. And Dr. Judith Orloff recommends a few extra strategies. And that is strategy 1. Ask yourself, is what I'm feeling, is this a symptom or an emotion of mine, my own, or is it somebody else's? Is this symptom or emotion mine or someone else's? Okay, so just really, feel into that. And if it feels like it's not really authentic to you, like let's say you're feeling really happy throughout the day, and then all of a sudden you see someone, they're sad and depressed, and you feel sad and depressed, tell yourself, this is not my emotion. I am not going to own it. I do not have to own it. Deflect back to sender. So the second one is breathe and repeat mantras. So any kind of mantras that help you, okay? Or it could be affirmations, positive ones, like I am health, I am love, I am abundant, I am resourceful, I am confident. Those really help a lot. And she also mentions return to sender, return to sender, return to sender 3 times. If there's a feeling that you don't like that you're picking up on from somebody, just deflect it back to sender. You do not have to take that on as your own. That is a choice. Strategy 3, step away from what's disturbing you, okay? So take a step back if you feel uncomfortable in any situation. You don't have to stay there. We all have free will. And I think a lot of times as empaths, we forget that. We feel like we have to be somebody's caretaker, or we have to fix someone, or we have to be their savior. But we don't. We have to save ourselves first before we can even think of helping anybody else. And we can help by, putting out our lending hand. We can help out with little things, but we need to make sure that it's not going to turn into a full-blown codependent situation. We have to know our limits, our boundaries, and what we can take on versus what we can't take on. Strategy 4, limit physical contact. Hugs are a choice. So yeah, I've had to learn this too, to really be aware of who I'm hugging and who I'm allowing into my energetic space. And once again, go with your intuition. How does it feel? If it feels right, go for it. If it doesn't feel right, you are not obligated to hug someone unless you really feel like you want to. Strategy 5, detox in water. So she recommends Epsom salt baths for like detoxification and rejuvenating the mind, body, and soul, and adding essential oils to the bath too, such as lavender and other oils like that. And the 6th one is set limits and boundaries. Strategy 7 is visualize cutting a cord between you and the other person. The 8th one is plan alone time to regroup. So like what I'm doing right now is I scheduled this alone time for the day so I can just listen to the birds and all the nature sounds and just really reset and regroup. There's nothing wrong with that. And there's a little thing she has in here by Kristen Butler. It says, sometimes I need to go off on my own. I'm not sad. I'm not angry. I'm just recharging my batteries. I love that. There's nothing wrong with recharging and resetting. We are all entitled to that. Strategy 9, spend time in nature and practice earthing, i.e. what I'm doing right now. I'm sitting on a wooden bench with my shoes off. My feet are barefoot on the grass, and it's amazing. Absorbing negative ions and soothing and calming the nervous system and resetting my bioelectric circuit. Strategy 10, get plenty of sleep and take power naps. Sleep is really important. R&R, rest and relax. Strategy 11, take breaks from being online. This is huge. Sometimes I have to take breaks from social media and the internet altogether to just reset and quiet my mind and really get more in tune with the present moment and what's happening around me. It makes me think of Eckhart Tolle's The Power of Now. We need to recapture the power of the present moment. Strategy 12, clearing tips for traveling. Okay, so she provides clearing tips for when you're on the go. She said the stress of traveling can expose us to toxic energy that may not normally enter our everyday life. We're dealing with airports, cramped planes or trains, hotels, and new people. The following suggestions are ways we can travel more comfortably and not get overwhelmed by the crowds and close quarters. So she talks about check your luggage so you don't have to fight for overhead bins. Choose an aisle seat so you can get out easily and take refuge in the bathroom if necessary. Always have an escape route. To avoid the crowd boarding the plane, wait until the other passengers have boarded and then casually walk on to take your seat. Bring clothes to keep you warm since the air conditioning can be chilly. Always bring water no matter where you're going to stay hydrated. I always do that. Try wearing an air purifier around your neck, which generates negative ions to purify the stale, recirculated air on the plane, or it could be a train or your car. Essential oils are good for that too. Use earbuds to eliminate unwanted noise and enjoy listening to your music or an uplifting audiobook instead. I actually do that. If I'm in grocery stores for too long, the music and the overhead intercoms can really irritate me. So I have to put on 432 hertz or 528 hertz to really soothe my mind. Avoid draining conversations with others. Strangers tend to tell their life stories to empaths. Unless you are drawn to talk to someone, create a cone of silence around yourself that communicates, I'm not available. Center yourself by meditating. And there are a few others in here. But basically what this all comes down to is self-love, self-respect, and really tuning into our bodies, into our souls, and really figuring out what it is we need to feel comfortable and safe in this everyday world. Okay? We all deserve to feel comfortable, loved, respected, and just calm, right? So whatever that entails. And for me, it's getting out in nature every day, at least for 5-10 minutes a day. It really makes a huge difference in how I feel and my health and my well-being and happiness. So I really hope that some of the excerpts from this book have assured you or reassured you that it's okay if you identify as an empath, and that you're not alone because there are a lot of empaths out there that are going through the same thing. And if you have any experiences or any symptoms that you would like to share, please leave it in the comment section below. Maybe we can get a little discussion going. And if you like this video and you would like more like it, please give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe. Click that subscribe button below. And I want to thank all of you that have subscribed to my channel. I really appreciate your love, your positive energy, your amazing comments. You all are just a blessing. Thank you so much. I hope you have a wonderful, blessed rest of the day, evening, wherever you are. Sending you an abundance of peace, love, and light from me to you. Namaste.